Imagine this. You walk into your local Walmart or Costco, and the shelves are stripped bare. No water jugs, no soap, not even plastic forks. People aren't fighting over gold, tech gadgets, or high-end tools. They're shouting, pushing, and grabbing over cheap plastic spoons and rolls of tape. Sounds crazy? It's not. When an economic collapse or natural disaster hits, it's not the flashy survival gear that disappears first. It's the small, everyday items we take for granted. The humble things that quietly hold our lives together suddenly become lifelines. And when those vanish, chaos kicks in fast. In this video, we're breaking down 7 overlooked household essentials that will be worth more than gold when the system breaks. These are the items that smart families, retirees on fixed incomes, and budget-savvy students are grabbing now, while they're still dirt cheap and easy to find. Because once panic hits and shelves go empty, trust me, you won't be the only one wishing you had stocked up on these insignificant items. Let's dive in and make sure you're 5 steps ahead of the chaos, not fighting in the aisles when it finally arrives. Bulk plastic cutlery, the silent sanitation savior. When the system goes down and clean water becomes a luxury, something as simple as doing the dishes becomes a serious health risk. No running water means no easy way to clean forks, spoons, or knives. And before you know it, your kitchen sink turns into a breeding ground for bacteria. That's when bulk plastic cutlery becomes a total game changer. We're not talking about fancy biodegradable stuff or premium party forks. We mean the cheap, utility-grade plastic cutlery you can buy in 250 or 500-piece packs. The kind of thing most people overlook until they can't find any and their family has to eat chili with their hands. During Hurricane Maria, FEMA field kitchens went through mountains of plastic utensils daily just to safely distribute meals. When supplies ran out, people had food, but no way to eat it without risking disease. And remember early COVID lockdowns? Those plastic forks disappeared from stores overnight. Families who stocked up early were fine. Everyone else? Not so lucky. Plastic cutlery may seem wasteful in normal times, but in a crisis it keeps you safe. No dishwashing, no cross-contamination, no illness. For families with kids, seniors with weakened immune systems, or students hunkered down in dorms, this one item can make the difference between getting through the week or getting sick. Buy a few bins, store them sealed, and stash them everywhere. Your pantry, car, bug-out bag. When things go south, you won't care if it's classy. You'll care that it's clean, simple, and safe. 2. Emergency sealing tape. Your home's first line of defense. Forget the high-tech gadgets and bug-out bunkers. When disaster strikes, the real lifesaver might just be sitting in your garage right now. A roll of heavy-duty emergency sealing tape. No, not the flimsy dollar store duct tape that peels off when it rains. We're talking about industrial-grade foil and film sealing tape, the kind used by contractors, disaster crews, and serious preppers. It's waterproof, weatherproof, and built to hold under real pressure. And when the power goes out, the wind starts howling, or floodwater creeps in, this stuff could be the only thing standing between your family and the elements. Think it's overkill? Ask the folks who lived through the Texas freeze of 2021. With no heat, people scrambled to seal doors and windows any way they could. Towels didn't work. Cheap tape failed. But those who had proper sealing tape, they locked in warmth, blocked out cold air, and kept their homes livable, even when temps plunged below freezing. But that's just the start. After Hurricane Maria, residents in Puerto Rico used this same type of tape to patch broken water tanks, reinforce tarps, and even reseal food bins. It's a tool with 100 uses: insulating, repairing, waterproofing, even bug-proofing your storage. Here's the kicker. This tape disappears fast. Hardware stores don't keep massive stockpiles, especially off-season. Once a storm warning hits or a crisis unfolds, shoppers race to grab what's left, and fights break out over the last few rolls. Smart prepping means grabbing this kind of unglamorous essential before the panic starts. Keep rolls in your toolbox, car, and emergency bin. Label them clearly and keep them sealed in plastic to prevent damage. When it all falls apart, a single roll of tape might be the difference between holding your home together or watching it fall apart. 3. Canvas drop cloths. Quiet strength in a loud crisis. Walk past them in the hardware aisle and you'd never guess. Canvas drop cloths, yes, the same ones painters use to catch drips, are one of the most powerful survival tools you can own. And when a crisis hits, these humble sheets are going to disappear fast. Unlike plastic tarps that rip easily, flap loudly in the wind, or scream, "There's someone inside," canvas is strong, silent, and smart. It's breathable, reusable, and adaptable. That means in a blackout, hurricane, or full-blown economic collapse, it becomes your emergency insulation, blackout curtain, ground cover, privacy wall, and even sleeping mat, all in one. Imagine you're trying to keep your home warm during a winter grid failure. Hanging canvas over windows and doorways traps body heat better than plastic, and it doesn't rattle every time the wind blows. Noise control equals stealth, and that's everything when safety becomes a concern. During the early COVID lockdowns, many families used canvas drop cloth to build isolation rooms for sick loved ones. Hospitals were overwhelmed, and canvas became the go-to material for DIY quarantine zones. The same was true in disaster shelters after hurricanes and floods. Families used canvas to create partitions for privacy and dignity. But not all canvas is created equal. Avoid printed or dyed ones. Some contain chemicals that release fumes when wet or burned. Stick with unprinted, natural canvas. It's safer, more versatile, and won't make you sick in close quarters. Buy them now, roll them up tight, and store them dry. 1 or 2 sheets can serve 5 different uses in a crisis, and they cost almost nothing today. But once panic hits and the shelves are bare, you'll wish you had 10 of them. Strong, quiet, reliable. When the world turns chaotic, canvas brings calm. 4. Sealed metal storage cans. Indestructible and invaluable. You won't find them in the prepping aisle. You won't see them on flashy survival gear ads. But sitting quietly in the paint section of your local hardware store is one of the most overlooked survival items money can buy. Sealed metal storage cans, especially the 1-gallon or 5-liter paint cans with tight sealing lids. These rugged containers were designed to hold volatile chemicals like oil-based paint and stain, so they're built to withstand pressure, temperature swings, moisture, and impact. Translation? They won't crack like plastic buckets, melt in the sun, or leak during transport. That makes them perfect for crisis conditions. Clean, empty metal cans can be used to store dry goods like rice, flour, sugar, or coffee, pest-free and airtight. Transport or stash water, fuel, cooking oil, or other liquids. Cook food over an open flame when other cookware isn't safe or available. Protect high-value bartering items like matches, meds, or ammo from rodents and rain. After the Beirut fuel crisis in 2021, people started hoarding old paint cans to carry kerosene and gasoline. In parts of Ukraine, families use metal cans to store emergency cooking oil, candles, and even as fireproof cooking pots. These stories aren't survival fiction. They're real-world case studies in why metal beats plastic every time. Why will fights break out over them? Because they're not mass-stocked, especially out of painting season. And by the time people realize their Tupperware is cracking and leaking, the metal can section will be empty. Pro tip, buy new unused cans with clean lids. Don't try to scrub old paint out. Keep a dozen tucked away in your pantry or garage. Label each by purpose: water, fuel, dry food, and tape the lid shut for storage. In a crisis, you won't need a vault full of gold. You'll need a few solid cans that keep your supplies clean, safe, and ready for anything. These aren't just containers, they're insurance policies. 5. Gallon water containers. The unsung heroes of survival. Water is life, but in a full-blown crisis, whether it's a blackout, flood, or supply chain collapse, access to clean, portable water is never guaranteed. And even if you can find it, how will you carry it? That's where gallon-sized water containers become absolutely essential. We're not talking about pre-filled bottled water. Those run out fast and the plastic is flimsy. Instead, we're talking about the empty, reusable gallon jugs. the kind with tight screw-on caps, made from food-grade plastic. You can find them at hardware stores, grocery stores, or online. Cheap, stackable, durable, but only while they're still available. During Hurricane Harvey, thousands of people lined up for emergency water distribution, but many showed up with nothing to put the water in. The result? Some used trash cans, others repurposed detergent bottles, risking chemical contamination and leaks. Meanwhile, those who had dedicated water jugs were in and out with clean, secure containers. These jugs do so much more than hold water. Freeze them ahead of storms to keep food cold if the power goes out. Use them to ration water per person, per day. Designate some for pets, hygiene, or cooking. Use. Refill them from rainwater, streams, or emergency trucks. Don't wait until the power's off and the stores are picked clean. Stock up on a few flats of containers now. Label them clearly, drinking only, cleaning, etc., and store them sealed and dry. Bonus tip, keep a collapsible funnel nearby so you can refill quickly from any source. When panic hits, people will literally fight for the last gallon jug on the shelf. But if you prep now, you won't be fighting, you'll be filling. One jug might not seem like much, but when taps run dry, it's the difference between calm and chaos. 6. Bulk soap dispensers, your first defense against disaster disease. In the middle of a crisis, we often focus on food, fuel, or water. But what quietly kills in shelters, community kitchens, and crowded homes? Germs. And one of the cheapest ways to stay healthy during an emergency is something most folks overlook. The bulk hand pump soap dispenser. Not the fancy designer kind, not the decorative ceramic kind, just a basic, plastic, refillable pump. The kind that costs a couple bucks and quietly sits in the background until everything goes wrong. You can have gallons of soap, but without a controlled way to dispense it, you're wasting it, contaminating it, or spreading germs with every shared touch. During Hurricane Katrina, shelters saw outbreaks of norovirus and respiratory infections because there simply weren't enough proper hygiene setups. People shared bar soap, some used none at all. The result? Illness spread like wildfire. A bulk pump dispenser solves 3 problems in one. It conserves soap, reducing waste. It minimizes contact, lowering transmission risk. It's refillable from larger jugs, making it sustainable long-term. For seniors with health vulnerabilities, families with messy toddlers, or college roommates sharing a tiny bathroom, this small item becomes a hygiene powerhouse. And unlike wipes or sanitizer, which run out fast and dry out, soap and water remain the most effective, CDC-approved combo against germs. When shelves start clearing during a crisis, the soap aisle gets hit hard. But guess what people forget? The dispensers. They're light, stackable, and practically indestructible. But once people realize they need them, it's too late. Prepping smart means thinking one step ahead of the crowd. Keep a couple dispensers in each bathroom, kitchen, and even in your bug-out bag. Refill them from bulk soap containers and label them by use. Hands only, dish soap, etc. You don't need to be a germaphobe to understand this. Clean hands save lives, especially when the world gets dirty. 7. Rubber plant pots, the container that could save you. At first glance, rubber plant pots seem like the last thing you'd need in a crisis. They sit there in the garden section, collecting dust, ignored, undervalued, and often on clearance. But when the system breaks and resources get tight, these humble containers become one of the most useful tools in your survival stash. Why? Because they're tough, lightweight, and versatile. Qualities that cheap plastic bins or brittle buckets just can't compete with. Rubber pots are made to endure the elements. They don't crack in freezing temperatures. They don't collapse under heavy weight. They're deep, putty, and easy to carry. And when the time comes, they do way more than hold dirt. Here's how these overlooked containers shine in a crisis. Collecting rainwater during water shortages, transporting rations from aid stations, organizing supplies in a bug-out setup, micro-gardening in tight spaces like porches, balconies, or shelters, even serving as an improvised sink or wash station. Back during Venezuela's economic collapse, families used these very pots to grow vegetables for food or barter. In cities with no access to farmland, a single pot of leafy greens became a source of nutrition and even income. Want another reason to get them now? Stores don't keep them in stock year-round, and once people realize their durability and value, they'll vanish from shelves in a flash. Preppers in the know have already started collecting them off-season, plugging the drain holes, labeling them by use, and storing them in garages or sheds. Buy at least 5 to 10 of them. Keep some for growing food, others for water or sanitation. When plastic containers start breaking down, your rubber pots will still be standing strong. They're cheap now, but when the collapse hits, they'll be worth more than cash because you can't drink dollars and you can't grow tomatoes in a broken tote. Prepare quietly, survive loudly. So there you have it. 7 simple household items that might look boring today, but could be worth more than gold tomorrow. No, they're not flashy. No, they're not expensive. But when the system starts to crumble, it's the people who thought ahead, not the ones who panicked last minute, who come out on top. Ask yourself, would you rather have a basement full of useful, practical tools when disaster hits, or be standing in line, empty-handed, as shelves go bare? Plastic forks might not seem like a big deal now. Neither does sealing tape or a water jug. But during real emergencies, whether it's a hurricane, a blackout, or a total economic breakdown, these insignificant items turn into life-saving resources. They're how you stay fed, warm, clean, and safe when everything else falls apart. And the best part? You don't need to be rich to prepare. Most of these items cost just a few bucks each. They're easy to store, widely available, and totally under the radar for now. So stock up before the panic sets in. Build your emergency kit quietly, smartly, and consistently. Because when the chaos starts, those who prepared in silence will survive with confidence, while the rest fight over scraps. Drop a comment below if you've already got some of these tucked away, or if you've got other must-have items people should know about. Like, share, and don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss a tip that might just save your life. Be smart, be quiet, be ready. Because survival doesn't start when the system breaks. It starts now.